everybody, and welcome back to the Solicitors podcast. Today, I thought I would pull Mark Reed, my fellow solicitor, in for a chat about something that's recently in the news. Hello there, Mark.
How are you doing, Ellis?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Well, the podcast probably hasn't got long enough for me to tell you about my positives and negatives in life. So I will say to you that everything's fine. I'm having some interesting reads that are going on at the moment in law and of course in social media.
Absolutely. Well, you know that we regularly have a nice chat about the developments in social media and technology and how things are going on. So today I thought we would have a chat about Elon Musk's new venture.
Who's Elon Musk?
Elon Musk is the creator, founder, Tesla extraordinaire, who I'm sure we've all seen whizzing around on the roads and heard about in the media. He has purchased a 9.2% stake in Twitter.
Twitter, the social media platform giants. Twitter?
That's very one, yes.
Okay, all right, I'm with you now. Now, this is a point for discussion, so wow. Firstly, I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether anyone has considered that as big news like we have. I certainly found that to be a very interesting development. What are your thoughts then, Ellis? Why are we talking about it today?
Well, I mean, firstly, I think the financials catch your eye. $3 billion US.
What does that mean?
He shelled out $3 billion US for that 9.2% stake in Twitter. So he has purchased quite a large number of shares. To be exact, 73,486,938 shares in Twitter have been purchased by Elon Musk for that massive $3 billion US.
Right, okay. Now there's a reason for that. No one shells out $3 billion unless they're going to get something out of it. I mean, firstly, I guess we should just briefly talk about Twitter, generally speaking. I mean, you know, we enjoy going through Twitter, reading through different tweets, and I find it incredibly interesting, certainly when you're getting a group of people who don't know each other, able to engage in a conversation, similar to what we do in the office. Where you're able to sort of put your opinion on a particular topic, and then have others that can respond to it, and you can engage it. And also social media platforms offer the same thing. So we're fans of social media. We do enjoy it, don't we, on a daily basis. And of course, before you carry on the Elon Musk point, I specialise in the social media law issues, certainly disputes that arise, defamation, harassment, and some awful infringement issues that have happened on social media for our clients. So it's a topic, I mean, I do discuss it quite frequently with different solicitors and barristers. And we, of course, have some podcasts on that which you can listen to as well.
Absolutely.
But back to Elon Musk. Why would he want to have a 9.2%
stake? I mean, well, like you say, social media is just becoming ingrained in our lives.
Yep.
And as business owners, I think it would be almost silly to underestimate its potential and power in sort of controlling and kind of creating that narrative around your business and your brand. So I think firstly it gives him kudos in being a significant part in another successful brand that can't do anything bad about his status and his sort of prominence in people's minds.
Okay, so let's just pause there then. Right. So they meaning Twitter, okay? There is, of course, an overriding objective to keep things fair when it comes to what they're willing to allow, what they're not willing to allow, and of course the law itself. So they're governed by the laws of the particular territory that the users are using it in. So being, or arguing there's some form of extra protection so that they can't this and they can't that against him, he obviously is not going to be given any more rights to express himself in a different way. Not that he necessarily would, but
no.
they're giving him this sort of protection there, that goes beyond their standard terms of use, surely.
Well, yeah, not so much that he's kind of got his fingers in and meddling in terms of gaining an unfair advantage, but I think in terms of being able to use that platform as a place where his followers or his fans or consumers of his products can sort of access him maybe more directly, I think that will be a benefit to him. And also, like you say, potentially he's under the thought process that it could give him that extra kind of layer of security in terms of potential bad comments or things like that. But like you say, there's got to be some consideration for that.
Okay, so let's just sort of put this into a competition point of view. So you mentioned to me before the podcast that there has to be a consideration in terms of any competition laws, and certainly if you've got so many fingers and so many pies of a certain stake in, globally, it becomes a point where if you keep going up the tree and you've got people with such wealth and such influence, they are effectively they become a small group of people, or a small not family but such, but just a little knit circle of people that control the world. Now that's where competition laws, they try to, when you look at business and commercially, they don't like that. And I say they, obviously we can talk about that in a little bit more detail there, but there are restrictions there to allow too much ownership or too much monopoly over certain industries. And if he's got a 9.2% stake in that social media, could it be that that's acceptable because it's not too much where he's then gaining too much control over that? Has he got any other media outlets that he's able to say, actually, I've got a stake in that? If he was to suddenly say, look, I want to actually get a piece of pie in Facebook, could there be restrictions there? I mean, is there anything that you can think of with what he's already got under his belt in terms of his portfolio where there could be consideration given as to competition standards?
Well, firstly, when you say they, obviously in the UK we have the Competitions and Markets Authority, which is the government body who deals with competition and making sure that no one has too much of a controlling interest, that it kind of suffocates the rest of everyone out. In terms of Elon, I don't believe he's got any other stakes in terms of social media, so potentially
hence why this is news, because it's sort of
So potentially this sort of purchase wouldn't kind of raise the eyebrows. Obviously this purchase has been made in the US. Twitter is a US company. So necessarily the Competitions and Market Authority based in the UK wouldn't be sort of the first point of call.
There's no jurisdiction there.
No. Potentially there has been discussions with kind of the US alternative. I think in terms of Elon, it would really come down to if he expanded his sort of dominance in the
it's got to
electric
be related.
market.
Okay. I was just going to say, just on that, in terms of his dominance there. I mean, we say he, that's an individual, and we have to remember that there's no, there's got to be some give on an individual that's as wealthy as he is. To be able to say, well, no, if I can put my money into whatever I want. It's not sort of saying that there's a company out there, the ownership of that company is also owned by that and that and that and that and that. There's no issues there. But it must all come down to then media. Because social media, of course, is a different outlet to be able to express oneself, whether it's to be able to, say about the news that's happened that day or topics that are important to people. So surely, if you would consider it in terms of competitions markets, then it has to only be related to the media, surely. What else could you say social media could have a hand in?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, all businesses have their sort of platform and their position in the social media world, but that's not necessarily causing kind of the competition there. I mean, I also was reading this morning that Tesla, Elon Musk's sort of original company that sort of catapulted him into the world, has surpassed a market value of $1 trillion US.
Wow.
So he's obviously very sort of dominant in that area.
And also the satellites, of course.
Also, SpaceX. So potentially this is a sort of
that's a
new
communications
market.
Point, maybe.
Yeah, you've got the potential overlap there. Obviously, sort of changed direction slightly in terms of the social media. So
I think SpaceX isn't that to do with more the isn't it be able to give faster internet or something, data? I'm pretty sure that's not really all about communication, being able to communicate in that way. It's more about, I think, offering.
yeah,
I might be wrong. I've not read up on it. But
more on the technical side,
yeah.
rather than kind of the
maybe. Well, look, I mean,
side.
I look, without sounding too impressed, I personally think it's a wonderful thing that he's then got a stake in that. I followed Elon Musk in certain things that he's said and done. At the end of the day, if he's made a decision that he personally wants to put his wealth into that, hopefully it'll keep things positive for Twitter, and Twitter goes on to be bigger and better as it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be very interesting to see whether this kicks on to other things, or whether he just stays with his stake in Twitter, and how that then
we'll
changes
follow it
Twitter
certainly,
as a
and if there's further developments, we can come back and have a further discussion in terms of a podcast, can't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, excellent. Okay, well, thanks for inviting me over, Ellis.
You're very, very welcome. It was a pleasure to have you, and thank you for chatting to our listeners with me.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.